Hello everyone, welcome back. It's good to be here. My name is Oshina. I'm going to be sharing about some young adult books in this video, just kind of a young adult check-in. I'm going to go over all of the young adult books that I've DNF'd recently, that I've liked, that I've loved, that I've disliked, that I would recommend but I didn't like, all the things, and then a little bit of a TBR as well, and an anti-TBR. So all things young adult. I've had a couple questions in my comments related to this topic, so I figured I'd just make one big young adult video as kind of a check-in to see what the young adult books I have been reading are and if I would recommend them to you, because I know a lot of you are teachers and parents and grandparents and you're looking for appropriate books to recommend to your kids, and I really appreciate that you care enough to look into that, and I want to do the best I can to help. So I'm going to list all of these books down below in the order that I talk about them, and I'll leave timestamps as well if you just want to jump around. But thank you for being here. I've got a ton of other recommendation videos related to young adult, so I'll link those below as well, and I'm gonna hold up as many books as I can. So the recent young adult books that I have loved, first of all, is the Prison Healer trilogy by Lynette Noni. I love this trilogy and I should be showing it in a wrap up pretty soon here. I technically read the Prison Healer in April, but I forgot to talk about it in my wrap up. I don't know why I've been doing that lately. I forget about talking about books. But anyways, I did read this and then I read the second two in May. And I really enjoyed this series. I gave the first two books I gave the first two books 4 stars and then the third book 5 stars because I just really loved the progression of the plot and the characters and all the things. So what this book is about, The Prison Healer, it's a fantasy book and it's a totally made up kingdom. There's a map in the beginning, and I was very curious about this because I've heard great things about this trilogy from several different types of readers. So I was like, oh, then I probably will like it. I've heard that there's some romance in it. So this book opens with you're following a girl named Kiva, and she is in this high security prison, and you kind of learn how she got there and what her role is. She works in the medical area, the infirmary, and so she's like part of kind of orienting the new prisoners. She has to brand them. You're following her, and it opens with there's a new prisoner, and she kind of like, he wants to befriend her, and she's like, no, I put up walls. Like, she doesn't want to get close to anyone because a lot of people die in this prison. And you just kind of follow her, getting to know some of these characters and all of the different people that affect her day-to-day life. And then you kind of know from the back that there is this queen, this rebel queen, that gets brought to the prison, and she has to be put to these trials to see if she can either win them and win her freedom, or she'll die in the trials. And Kiva steps in and takes over the trials for her because the queen is not able to. So you follow that story in this. I found it very interesting. It is a slow moving plot, but the writing style was really well done. So I was very interested still the whole time. I really liked seeing Kiva's day to day, and I thought it was good. So there's no language in this book, and there's no kissing at all. There's not even really romance. The guy flirts with her a little bit, but that's not really what's happening. And there's a really good plot twist in this book as well. The one thing I will warn about is there are some like older male guards that do objectify some of the women prisoners, and you kind of know some of the things that they're not doing well to them, and it's not described, there's nothing like that, but it's very implied, I guess. But I don't think it's inappropriate for teenagers, and I still would recommend this to teenagers, like 14 and up, I guess I would say. And then the other one that I read recently that I don't have a copy of is Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. I would probably say that you should read the Hunger Games trilogy first before reading this book, but I still really enjoyed this, and I do think that it can stand on its own. I would still recommend it as a good start actually to this whole Hunger Games world, but of course I would say start with the Hunger Games. But I really enjoyed this. There was no language, there was obviously a lot of violence, but no like romance either, so I really enjoyed it. So that's it for the ones that I've really enjoyed. So not a ton, and let's get into ones that are either fine or I just disliked them, but I might still recommend them. So where should I start? I'll start with Fearless by Lauren Roberts. I know that I've hyped Powerless quite a bit on my channel, and a few of you have told me that you've read it because of me, so that's really cool. I stand by Powerless. I thought that this was a great first book in a trilogy, and she set up the world so well and the characters so well, but where she took the story, really disagree with what she did here. I thought that it was low quality and not well planned and felt very random, and I just was not impressed. And so for like Fearless, this is the third book, it's the wrap up, and there's supposed to be more novellas coming, but I mean, I'll probably read them, but I just was very let down by this book, and I didn't think it was well done at all. So that's too bad. In terms of if I would recommend it, this book had language. There was a few words here and there and 2 F words, and then there was violence and killing, and then there is a fade to black scene. So that was just so unnecessary. Like, all of those things were unnecessary, and I just overall was like not impressed with this book. So I don't know that I would recommend this trilogy anymore, but I would still recommend Powerless, and I could see why you would not want to just stop at Powerless, because like a lot of unanswered questions. But the thing is, the answers to the questions are very not satisfying at all. So that's all I'll say about that. But I would still like say that it's not a bad recommendation for a teenager. One that I would say is a bad recommendation, though, is These Hollow Vows by Lexi Ryan. This isn't a super recent read, but I figured I'd talk about it because I know that fairy books are popular. Well, I wonder what the next thing is going to be, though. Like, are we sick of fairies yet? I don't know, because I'm sick of them. But anyways, These Hollow Vows, it is a duology, but it does have a spin-off duology maybe as well. But this follows fairies, and it's just not well done. There's language. It's spicy. It should not be young adult. Like, this is a new adult book, but the writing style is definitely like young writing style. So overall, just not a good book, I think. Yeah, I'm not going to describe too much about it because I just would not recommend this book. Stay away from it is what I think. Next up is The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I know that this series is really popular, I think, and it's still ongoing. So I'm like, wow, what more could she tell in this series? I don't know. I haven't followed it. I stopped at the 3rd book. I could see why teenagers would like The Inheritance Games, and I don't think there's anything wrong in the books. Like, I honestly don't remember if there's any language, but there probably isn't anything like super drastic if I don't remember it. And then there's only kissing as far as what I've read, and there is like a female-female attraction relationship as well. It's very side though, so it's like you could read over it pretty easily. So that's The Inheritance Games. I don't know what the next books have been like. I don't know if she's going more new adult with them or not, but that's what I would say. In terms of like what I would recommend by Jennifer Lynn Barnes is the Natural series, although this is pretty intense. Like, it's about serial killers and a lot of blood is described. So there's that. And then there is a female-female attraction in this book, or in this series as well. Not in this first book, but later on. But I still thought the storytelling and the characters and the plot was really interesting, and there's no language in this book and there's no spice. So I really enjoy that about the series. Just a few DNFs for me that I don't know I'll ever have a chance to talk about other than right now, because I'm not putting them on Goodreads or anything. So I did DNF Legendborn by Tracy Deonn because I just could not get into the writing style. And I found that the world building was very confusing. I gave it a few chapters. I was listening to the audiobook as well. Like, any time that I start an audiobook, I usually have the physical book. So I always do immersion reading, if that's what it's called. So it's not that the audiobook was making me be confused, because I had the book in front of me, but both, I was just confused because the way the story was playing out and the way the main characters' thoughts were given to us, it just was not rooted in reality enough for me to be able to follow it. And I just was generally confused and not into it. So I DNF'd it. I don't care. It is what it is. From what I've read, there was no language and that's it. But I can't say that I would recommend it. I know that there's magic in this book, but I don't know anything past that. So I did DNF it and I probably won't be coming back to it. The other book I'm really sad I DNF'd, and I gave it 2 solid tries and I still DNF'd it. So I'm like, that is what it is. Lightlark by Aster. I thought that this was going to be another prison healer situation because I've heard great things about this series from multiple different people. And I'm like, I hope I like this book. And again, confusing, not interesting. The main character is who are you? What is this? The writing style and the main character, it just did not compute. I was like, what am I reading right now? And we were getting into the plot. I gave it solid chapters. I gave it lots of pages. I had the audiobook and the physical book once again, and I just could not get into this book. And I tried twice. I tried a couple months ago and then I tried again a week ago, and I'm like, no, I can't do it. I'm not going to force myself to get into this book. So that's upsetting as well. It is what it is. So wouldn't recommend those 2 books. I don't know what's wrong with me. 2 books that I'm just kind of on the fence about. First is Daughter of the Pirate King by Tricia Levenseller, I think. This book was fine. I gave it 3 stars. It just felt kind of basic, and then there was a little bit of content that I was like, I don't really like this, so I think I'm over it. So I didn't continue. There's nothing super wrong with it, but just whatever. So you follow this girl who's like allows herself to get captured, and she's on this boat, and she's trying to seduce the captain to like get her what she wants. But there's two brothers. One of them's the captain, one of them's, I guess, the first mate or whatever you call him. And the first mate guy is into her and they have a connection, but she's trying to seduce the captain, the brother. So a bit of a love triangle, you could say. And when she goes to seduce the brother, it like went too far in my opinion. Like there was clothing coming off, and then she like poisons him, I think, or something. And it just was a weird scene for a young adult book. I don't know. I felt weird about it, and the story itself was just basic and not that interesting. So that's all I'll say. There was no language that I don't think there was any language, but I think you could skip it. There's better out there. And then Five Survive by Holly Jackson. I probably wouldn't recommend this book, actually. I wouldn't recommend it. Never mind. Because there is language in it. F words are used. But it's a fun concept. But just the execution, like, again, being in this main character's head, I felt like it was a little bit too, again, not rooted in reality. And she was, like, confusing to read from. And then, yeah, language, and it's a cool concept, though. These kids are in an RV, it breaks down, and snipers are shooting through the RV, and it's, like, a fun time. And I was interested to see, like, what this was all going to turn out to be, and there's twists and turns with the characters, but overall, it was just kind of, like, a kind of low-grade young adult story that I think there's better out there once again, so skip it. Okay, let's do anti-TBR, because I know you guys care about that. There's only two, because I don't even know if one of them would be considered young adults, but whatever. One that is definitely is Kingdom of the Wicked. I don't remember, Kerri Maniscalco, I think? Kingdom of the Wicked. No. I will not read any young adult, anything, any books, not even young adult, any adult fiction, any whatever. I will not read anything that has, like, hell or demons or anything that they are like seen as having any kind of moral compass. And even if in this book they don't have any morals, that's just wrong. It's wrong. I don't want to put that in my head. No. So yeah, I think this follows the Princes of Hell, I want to say, which again, why would I read a book about that? Like, no way, keep me out of that. So I'm not reading it, and it's just too bad, you know? And honestly, any book with like a skull on it kind of freaks me out. I don't want to read a book like that. So no, will not be reading anything like that. And then the other one is Fourth Wing. Forget the author. Wow. Rebecca something? Rebecca Ross? No. Rebecca Yarros. There you go. Anyways, Fourth Wing. Is it young adult? I don't know. Maybe it's adult. But I probably will never read that book. I think there's language in it, and I think it's open door as well. And I don't know, it's like really popular. I'm just a % curious, but not enough to actually do it. So that's what I'll say. Hey everyone, I'm just editing this video, and I forgot one young adult book that I do want to talk about because it's semi-popular, and it's Crave by Tracy Wolff. So this book I also started. I listened to the audiobook and had the physical book, and I only got a couple chapters in, and I just could tell the vibe was not for me. I've heard the term like Wattpaddy for what this kind of book feels like. It's just kind of like old YA that reads really young, really cheesy, cringy, and it had language in it that it was a bad boy, and I just was like, oh no, like there was not enough nostalgia for me to like want to keep reading. The thing about Twilight, like Crave is kind of like the modern day Twilight, you could say, not even close, but similar cover and similar setup because it's about vampires. But with Twilight, there was no language, and I just felt like Bella was really relatable, as much as people say that she's annoying. Anyways, but this main character, I didn't like her, and I didn't like the guy, and with the language and just the writing style, I was like, no thank you. Plus it's like a really long book, so. And then I ended up listening to, or like watching, a full-on spoiler video for the whole series, and it sounds whack, like so whack, and I don't think I would like it. So I would also not recommend this book, and I just wanted to let you know. I also did try it, and I DNF'd it, and will not be returning to it. Okay, but TBR, I definitely still have some that I want to check out, because you never know, right? So I have one of them here. I don't think I'll end up reading this anytime soon, but it's called Realm Breaker by Victoria Aveyard. I have read her whole Red Queen series, which, here's the first book. Red Queen. If you read Red Queen after reading Powerless, very similar, okay? And I had read this whole series before reading Powerless, and I was like, oh yeah, Hunger Games plus Red Queen, you get Powerless, okay? And I have seen that a lot of people thought that Victoria Aveyard copied Lauren Roberts. It was the other way around, for sure. I really enjoy the Red Queen series. Wouldn't recommend it though to you guys because there's content in it that I just wouldn't recommend, but I personally had a good time with it, so it is what it is. But here's another young adult series by this author, and I'm just curious about it, but this first book is giant, so haven't really given it a go. I do have the audiobook though, but I'm not ready to go into like a huge fantasy like this. But Realmbreaker, I will give it a try eventually. And then another one I want to try is Heartless Hunter by Kristen Ciccarelli. Now this is another one that I started the audiobook for, and I was like, once again, confused. What are these authors writing about? What is this? Like, can it not be straightforward like The Prison Healer? The Prison Healer was so clear from the beginning. Like, being in this character's head, it made sense. There was good world building. Thank you. But with Heartless Hunter, I'm like, what's going on? And so I did not do immersion reading though for that one. I just started the audiobook, so I'm waiting for the book to come in and I'll try again. But if it's going to be another Lightlark situation, I don't understand. That's really upsetting, you know? So yeah, Heartless Hunter though, gonna try it. And then I do think I'll try Caraval by Stephanie Garber. This is kind of her first series. I read the Once Upon a Broken Heart series already. It's like a 2 to 3 star series for me, so whatever. But maybe I'll like Caraval, and I like that it's clean, so that's why I'm interested. So I might try Caraval. It is in my library, so I'm gonna request it eventually. And then another one is Shadow and Bone. Forget the author. Leigh Bardugo. And this is an oldie. Like, I just never got around to it back in the day. And I think I still will give it a try, and then I think I want to try Six of Crows as well. But it's not high on the priority list because they're kind of older books. But I think Six of Crows is still pretty popular, so whatever, we'll see. And then The Cruel Prince by Holly something? What are Holly names? Holly Black, there we go. And yeah, The Cruel Prince, I don't know. I've heard mixed things about this trilogy, and actually my sister has read it, and she has mixed feelings about it too. But I would like to at least try the first book to see how I feel about it. So we'll see. Another one is The Darkest Minds by Alexandra Bracken. Do you guys, this is like old school dystopian that I just never got to, and I hope I could like it. It might read a little young to me now, but I still want to give it a try because it'd be a good recommendation for you guys if it is. And then the last one is Three Dark Crowns by Kendar Blake. I'm kind of interested in this one. I think it's about triplets that are princesses, and they all have to like vie for the throne by killing each other. So yeah, I don't know if I'll be into it. It sounds kind of dark actually, but I'm still interested because I haven't heard anything like super bad about it that would turn me off. So that is everything, I think. I did pull out Legend by Marie Lu. This is a solid recommendation for young adults. It's more like political than romance, but there's definitely romance in it, but it's totally clean. There's no language, and I really appreciate that. And I just think this is a solid trilogy, so give it a go. And then the other one that I would recommend is Cinder, or The Lunar Chronicles by Marissa Meyer. No language, it's clean, it's an interesting story, there's a lot of politics once again, it's a bit of sci-fi, and there's romance, but it's clean. So these are the two like that I just feel like have no issues, and you could like be safe and pick up these books. There's my young adult check-in. Hopefully this was helpful. I know I didn't talk about like every young adult book out there because this is kind of just like a check-in. Now we have a clean slate. I will talk about the new young adult books that I read from now to whenever, and I'll make a new video for it. So I'll link all the previous videos that I've done, and hopefully this is just like a library for you to look at when you're trying to find a recommendation for yourself or for someone you know. So again, I hope this is helpful, you guys. I'll write all the books down below. And yeah, let me know if you have any like recommendations or any like insight into some of the books I talked about. And yeah, appreciate your time, you guys. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.